You are the greatest asset in your business and in your life. I've heard that. I heard that at a very early age in my entrepreneurial journey, but I never really understood it, especially early on. I wished I'd learned this really early in my business. I'm glad that I know it now and I'm really focused on it. But what does that mean? You're the greatest asset. It means you are the way that you add value to your business, to your life. And I'm gonna share with you a few thoughts on why that's so important and how to level that up. You know, you being the greatest asset means that you have to invest. That's what makes an asset. An asset versus a liability is, which is a great question to ask yourself is, am I an asset to my business or am I a liability? An asset produces revenue. An asset brings value. An asset's value rises over time. So are you an asset or are you a liability? And if you are the greatest asset, then how do you add value to it? One of the things I recently learned from Dr. Myron was the 4 levels of value. I'll share those with you here just as a brief overview, but it's really important because when you understand it, it intensifies the urgency in which you invest in yourself as an asset. So let me share with you, just as an overview, his 4 levels of value. Number 1, which is the lowest level. And when I say lowest, it's because it's the level at which you get paid the least. And as you move up these 4 levels of value, you get paid more. The first level is implementation. It's something you're doing. You're doing the thing. You're implementing the thing, right? The resource you're using is your physical being, your muscles, right? So think about the implementation of somebody who's mowing the lawn, right? They're using their muscles, their physical labor to go out and mow the lawn. The second is unification. And that means, how do I now get a group of people to do the thing? Often we call that management or leadership. So I can bring a group of people together to now, instead of just mowing the lawn, say myself, I could get a group of people to come together. One's doing the edging, one's doing the mowing. My value goes out because I'm grouping people together. I'm unifying them. And the resource that I'm doing, that skill of leadership and management, is the skill level that I'm developing. The third level, which again, the pay goes up higher, is communication. That's a skill, a value level of communication. Now that can be done by communicating a vision, communicating a message. You look at some of the great leaders and income producers, they're really good at communicating a message. The resource they use is their mouth, or they use their social media channels to communicate out messaging. And in fact, look at some of the people today, they don't even have great implementation or unification skills. They're just really good at communicating. And sometimes not even communicating a great message, but they're getting paid via social media channels because they've learned how to communicate a message. And the fourth and highest level is imagination, right? Your ability to use your mind to create something that now goes out to the marketplace, goes out to the world, right? And those are the 4 highest levels. So if you know that now, and Myron does a great job of explaining that, that's just a brief overview. But if you know that those are the 4 levels of value and you want to move up that level of value, how do you do that? What you do is you find someone who's been where you want to be or has done that. If I want to move up to level 3 in communication and I want to be a great communicator to raise my level of value, then I need to find somebody that can do that and I need to invest. One of the lessons I learned years ago was to find a coach who has been or where I want to be and pay them what they're worth. And number 3, do what they say, right? If I believe they're the person I need to follow one for a period of time, then I need to pay them what they're worth and do what they say. That's the key to this process. But what I find people often do is they say, well, I don't want to invest, right? That coach, I remember my first coach was $300 an hour. And at the time, $300 was a lot of money for me. I don't even know how I'm going to do this. In fact, the first call was like, hey, how are you? How's the family? I'm like, good. Hey, can we just get right to business? Because this $300 is like all I have. And I need the most value from that $300. And now I'm spending, over $100,000 a year for coaches mentoring, actually to almost surpass $200,000 this year. And I don't say that to brag or to impress you, but more to impress upon you that the amount of money I spend and invest in coaches and mentors and books and events is in direct proportion to the amount of income my income has scaled. That's a fascinating comparison and correlation there, is that when I invest in myself as an asset, my income goes up, my value goes up. And I'm now probably, if I looked at Myron's 4 levels of value, I'm probably teetering between 3 and 4. Not quite right at 4 yet, but that's my goal this year. So if that's my goal, who can I find that can help me do that and invest, pay them, and move up and do what they say? Now, one of the reasons people don't do that is they stop and they say, Ches, I don't have the money. I don't have the ability to do that. So this is the biggest key to investing in yourself. It's not having money. Write this down. Be resourceful. Every step that I have leveled up, I did not have the money, personally did not have that money to make that happen. But I have been resourceful to find ways to create that money to now invest in that person or invest in me through that person, right? So it's fascinating. We have been conditioned in our society that I will take out a loan, I will do whatever it takes, right, to pay $20, $30, $40, $50,000 a year for a college education with no guarantee on the back end. And yet someone's asked, hey, spend $5,000 for this or $300 an hour or $100,000 for this thing. And we just, nope, can't do it. Don't know if it'll work. I question it. But yet it's all about investing in you. You're the greatest asset. So why the hesitation? The question for you to take away from this is if there's these 4 levels of value, which I believe so strongly in, and as you move up that, it's going to bring you more revenue. Why wouldn't you be urgent and intentional about finding the people who've already walked the path? You know, last week I met a young man who invests in senior living centers. And he's like, hey, what's your one piece of advice that would help me grow? And I said, there's actually 2. Number 1, find a coach or mentor who's already done what you're trying to do. Somebody's done all the hard work. And number 2, find somebody who's done all the hard work for attracting your ideal customer. That's it. He's like, oh my gosh, that would save me so much time. And I wanted to jokingly say, all right, that'll be $5,000 right there for those 2 pieces of advice, because I've learned all that through experience and hard work. Imagine the learning curve I just shortened for him in that time. Go find somebody who's done that, invest in yourself, and don't cut yourself short, right? If you keep cutting yourself short, cutting every corner, you're gonna end up doing a circle and you're just never gonna make progress in your path to improvement. So invest in yourself and do it now.